Woo! Welcome into another edition of Sunday Scaries with Nutmeg 2 Palmetto and my loyal co-host. This way? That way.
There you go. Good work. Good work.
As always, we go over what I'm chomping on. I'm finishing off a taco salad for dinner.
Ooh, fancy.
Well, chipotle mayo sauce, avocado, tomato, ground beef, of course, red onion.
Ooh.
Festive. And to drink, a staple of Steel hands down by me. You and I went there together. Pecan brown ale. And just before I completely burn all my Indianapolis jerseys, I'm gonna drink a beer. I drink this beer out of my Colts glass.
Why would you want to do such a thing?
You know what? That individual in the corner of your room is wearing a jersey that now lives in boxes. So maybe this is just the way things go in our lives, my friend.
Oh, it is. It is.
We have to move to different states and adopt teams that are otherwise garbage, and then in a few years, maybe we're rewarded with the Super Bowl. I don't know.
That's what you do. See, that's what happened to me, and now I'm just, it is what it is.
Yeah. I have a couple options. I mean, I could be a Panthers fan or a Falcons fan, and
I don't know. The Falcons, man, they're number 4-4.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, why don't we go into that one first? I mean, this game, I swear this game wanted to change my narrative of what we're going to talk about tonight about 4 or 5 different times. Because I'm thinking, first of all, I'm thinking, F this team, because I picked the Falcons to cover because Carolina is playing on nothing but guile and heart right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, the Falcons play hard. I don't know how. I don't know how their talent is keeping them afloat, but it is somehow. And, so I'm thinking, 4.5 points, they should be able to give the Panthers a check back to reality, I guess. After that win over Tampa. And I was really pissed off most of this game because it was super close. They weren't going to cover. And then at the end, they're driving. They kick that field goal. They go up by 6. I'm like, okay, we're under a minute left. I'm going to get this cover. This is going to be good. No.
Mr. XFL himself.
No. Yeah. I don't know whether to just tip my cap to PJ Walker for that dime of a Hail Mary or just crucify Atlanta's defense for giving it up.
Yeah, but I don't know how that pass made. I have no idea. Unreal.
It seems like from that point forward, including that moment, and from that point forward, it seemed like nobody wanted this win.
No. It was one of those games where everyone was like, I just don't care. There was just nothing. No one could do anything right. Nothing right.
Right. So after that, of course, you have DJ Moore rips his helmet off in celebration. Backs the extra point up, bricks the kick.
Mm-hmm.
Tie game. We go to OT. At one point, I think this was an OT. I don't think this was the regulation. Mariota is screaming on the pocket, heaves up this prayer, winds up being a duck, gets picked off. Carolina runs it back, sets them up. I'm like, oh, here we go. At least the benefit to overtime was the fact that maybe they might score a touchdown or get the cover anyway.
Right.
But no, of course, I can't even have that.
No, see, it's because you wanted it. This is how it works in sports because you want it. It's not supposed to happen.
Right.
At the end of the day, yeah, DJ Moore's got to know. Everyone knows you don't take the helmet off. You're like the best player on that team. You've got to be the leader. Don't take the helmet off. And lo and behold, Falcons 4-4, lead the division, 3-1 at home. So, like you said, it's this weird carpet ride that they're on. No one's taking them seriously, but they're 500.
Yeah, in first place at 500. So, of course, to close the game out, Panthers run the interception back. They get another field goal. The kid bricks it again. And Atlanta, with another spout of life, as you alluded to, go down the field. They don't screw it up this time. They kick the field goal. Kuz getting to be as much an automatic as the league can figure right now.
Who
with
is
his
like a
leg.
junior? I don't even know what you really want to call him, but the guy's automatic. He's their point guy. That's what it is. If they need the
Yeah.
three, he's as good as it gets.
And not a lot was. I mean, Mariota's stepped his game up in recent weeks, but not with a lot of passing. Like Drake London has pretty much disappeared. I can't figure. Like I can't quite figure there. And I don't think Patterson's back yet. I didn't see him too much in this game. If he played at all.
No, it's basically Mariota is your quintessential game manager at this point, and luck is on their side. Their defense gave up 34 points. At that point, you're thinking, all right, it's a loss. But, when the other team screws up, you take what you can get, and here it is.
That's right. Sometimes the gifts are better than the ones you hard fought for.
Exactly. So they must still believe in him because, Desmond Ritter's still sitting the bench. And they're not gonna bring him out until probably these guys are out of the playoffs. But who knows? The way that division is.
I would think Mariota would have to truly, and I figured it would have happened by now, but I would think Mariota would have to completely bottom out.
I think if they had two more losses, then yeah, you probably would have heard the whispers, and Ritter probably would have saw some time. But
right
there it is.
Now Carolina, they almost did it. And this team continues to play hard post the Baker injury, post firing Matt Rule, post sending CMC off to San Francisco, who we'll get to in a bit, who is playing lights out right now, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But part of me, like if I couldn't get the cover, part of me was kind of hoping Carolina did win, just to create pure chaos in the NFC South. A 4-way tie at 3-5.
Oh yeah, it would have been nice. It would have been nice. Yeah, 3-5. Wow, great. But I think Carolina is just like these. It's a season-long audition now for all these guys,
right?
Except for the guys that they're not trading. That Burns, Moore, and these guys. The guys who they've said aren't leaving. Everyone else, you're playing for the new coach, whoever that may be. So it's just, all right, let's just play hard and let the chips, fall where they fall. No one knows what the Baker situation is going to be.
Like, and you know what? Speaking of the new coach, I mean, if they could keep this effort up throughout the season, that's a good chunk of resume for Steve Wilkes to take to the front office. It
is, but at the same time, are they going to say, okay, this is the guy we want? Like if they finish 7-10, are you bringing him back next year?
My gut would say no. My brain would say no, but it honestly depends who's available on the market. If there's no big names out there,
it's the NFL. If there's a decent name out there,
that's
right, that's going to put a couple extra people in the seats, they're going to do what they can. Now,
one thing's for sure, I don't think they're going back to the college ranks again.
No, I think you let that sit. Yeah, don't do that. If they can maybe go 8-9, then yeah, bring them back and see what it is. If you've got a chance, but you've got to clean the house. You basically have to keep your key pieces, the ones you want, get rid of whatever, and move on, which includes, I think, Baker. I think Baker can still play in the league, but I don't know if he's the guy for your team. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think Baker's really kind of pissed away a lot of the leash he had. Benefit of the doubt, maybe.
Very well, but I also think his persona kind of rubs certain people the wrong way. I think he wears it on his sleeve. Sometimes you got to watch what you say, how you say it. He's very blunt, and I think it does rub some guys the wrong way. I don't know if this Carolina locker room is about that. I think if PJ continues to play decent and keeps them in games, they're going to rally to him. So then it's, all right, Baker, thank you. And there you go. So we'll see.
Bye.
Exactly. We'll see, but I think they're going to go new head coach. Depending what the draft situation is, issue is, a new quarterback. But it's still, long season.
Right. Because if PJ can play well, there's certainly no rush to get another veteran quarterback, address some other hole on the roster, and just roll with PJ for another year. Until
Smith.
That's right. Yeah, he might be open there. He might be out there. Now this wasn't the first game of the day. The day started off with us going to Mario London. I'm really glad all my European followers are probably asleep right now and can't hear that. Make or break for Denver. Both two teams, Denver, Jacksonville, going in at 2-5. In Jacksonville, I saw an interesting stat. They have lost 8 straight games when trailing in the fourth quarter, 0-5 this season, or something like that, or 8 straight losses. I think it was maybe qualified by being within a touchdown or something like that. The stat had some qualification to being a close game, I believe, and then they put the point differential up for the Jags this year, where they are like doing really well in the first and the third, and really poorly in the second and the fourth. So to me, that just rings true to the fact that they're still a young team, and they probably come out all full of piss and vinegar, and they can't sustain it.
Yeah, they need some little more veteran leadership on that team, and it's just, you're going through your growing pains, with, new coach, everything is pretty much brand new. You're starting from almost scratch. So I think they're learning. They should have lost regardless, because the Broncos, in theory, on paper, are the better team. At this point, the Broncos probably should have been walking in here at 6-1, for all the hype that was. So you knew this was going to be an ugly game, and the Broncos absolutely needed it.
Right.
It wasn't like Russ lit it up. They did enough to win. I don't think this game really answered any questions than what people walked in with. Yeah, they scraped, got their points, they won. I still don't trust this team as far as anything.
No, that's right.
Yeah, that's all. That's a guarantee. That's all you get out of Denver. That's a guarantee that you'll get that's right.
Let's ride straight to the dumpster fire.
Yeah, Russ was 18 of 30 for 252 and a touchdown.
They really didn't get going until late in the second half. The Jags had a good control of this for a lot of the game, and then Denver came back. They took the lead. Jags ran down. I think they took the lead back, and then Denver just rolled with it, and Jacksonville fell apart. I don't know what's going on with Trevor Lawrence, but I mean, I guess just youth got the better of them, and Denver kind of escaped this.
Yeah, that's all it was. And with T-Law, I think he's learning again. Don't forget, it's a new coach. I think he's going to be better off now than he was last year. It's just going to be a progression. Next year for him, I think is going to be his second year. Most, quarterbacks, you say the second year is where you're supposed to see the progression, and such. With him, new coach, there was a bad situation there in Jacksonville. So next year, I think you'll start to see what he really is.
Right.
I think he's shown flashes, but that team is still really young. They don't have a real veteran presence there. He doesn't have that real safety net, like most quarterbacks have that he knows he can go to. Run game is solid. They've got a good run game.
Etienne's nasty.
The defense needs to, improve a bit, but, with the trade deadline coming up, Josh Allen may not be there.
Right.
So that's going to be another interesting scenario to watch. But they kept it close, and they can hang their hat on it, and I think they're going to get better.
And if they need another year for Trevor to really get his feet under him, then they better hurry up and fill in the rest of that roster, because the longer you go on a rookie contract, of course, the more it's going to take where that quarterback wants to get paid, and now you don't have as much money to go around.
I think they will. I believe that the Jags honestly feel that they can compete, and I think they'll start to look at it that way. They've spent a lot in the past, and it hasn't worked out for them, kind of like the Redskins, Commanders.
They'll always be the Redskins.
So I think they're just going to take their time, build it right this time. So, yeah, they're a few years away from, I think, division title, but I think they're going to be a team that's going to be there in the long haul for the long term.
This week, we actually had the privilege of having completely separate games to watch today.
Yes, we did. That's the the beauty of being as far south as I am and where you are.
Yep. We're not always imprisoned to watching the Giants and the Jets every week.
Amen to that. Oh.
Ironically enough, up until this week, the Giants and the Jets would have actually been a decent watch.
Yeah, right. Who would have thought that? If you asked us that 15 years ago, we would have been like, yeah, okay.
Hell, 15 years, 15 months.
Yeah, true. A year ago, what are we talking about?
Yeah. So the next two I have up are the two that you got to watch. One of them we'll go into first. Wasn't expecting a lot of the Bears did come off of a pretty big win, embarrassing the Patriots, but the Cowboys absolutely took them to the woodshed today. What did you see out of Dak? Is Dak back? Are the Cowboys what the Cowboys should have been going into the season, and then what the rest of the team around Cooper looked like while Dak was getting healthy?
No, this was the Tony Pollard show. He was unreal. Zeke was out with injury this week, so it was Tony Pollard's show, and 3 touchdowns. That offense is totally different with Tony Pollard. Dak was adequate. Had a couple decent throws, but no, it was Tony Pollard and that defense. Micah Parsons again showed why he probably is going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears, I'll give them credit. To halftime, the Bears had it. The Bears were in it. The Bears came back, and they closed the gap. They put up 17 unanswered in the second quarter.
Yeah.
But at the end, it was just that Cowboys defense was just too much for them to handle. So, no, Dak was okay. To me, okay. But, yeah, like I said, Tony Pollard he put up, 14 carries for 131 and 3 tutties.
Okay and adequate, but also efficient, 21 to 27. Now, maybe that's just easy because Pollard had his way.
It's almost like they tell Dak, okay, we don't need you to carry us. Just don't make mistakes. He seems like a higher end game manager to me. Now it was the second half. They were looking at his non-throwing hand because I guess he kind of nicked it up. So, everyone was kind of like keeping an eye on that. But it was Tony Pollard, man. It was that offense works well. I think it's better with Tony Pollard as the lead back. He can catch out the backfield. He's just quicker. He's going to be a starter somewhere in the league soon, and he's going to be really good. But like you said, Dak was 21 of 27 for 250. Lamb was 5 for 77 in a tutty. Yeah, Dak wasn't horrible, but when you've got that defense that's creating opportunities, you've got to be able to win with the team. And Cowboys 6-2.
And when Dak doesn't have to do too much, that dials back to when he first got the starting job way back when.
Mm-hmm.
And Zeke was Zeke.
Yeah, exactly.
Dak didn't have to be the man. He could do what he's doing right now if Tony Pollard can take off like a rocket ship like he is, Dak can go back to that where he didn't really have to try and win the game himself because he had this bruiser Zeke behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's almost like kind of everything old is new again, so to speak.
No, definitely. But then the question is, when it's crunch time, is Dak going to deliver? Can Dak deliver? Right now, I'm on the no side right now. I think that team goes as far as that defense goes. And I think you really won't find out till towards the end playoff time. And I'm not a fan of him. I'm just not a fan of Dak. He's adequate. Okay, whatever. That defense, I love it. Micah Parsons is just, man, that boy is just insane. Insane.
And if he can't, bring back Ben DiNucci.
I'm telling you, man, Ben DiNucci. Ben, if you ever get to see this man, Ben DiNucci, we will anywhere you go, you sign, Ben. I'm there. I am gonna run the Ben DiNucci fan club. I don't care. I don't care where. I'll swallow, man. If it was the Jets, I'd swallow my pride and be like, all right, just give me the jersey. Just because it says DiNucci on it.
Yes. Beer for breakfast, facts for snacks. What up, sir? Thank you for joining. Go Washington. This guy's got jokes. We'll get into more of that in a bit.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
Day Corona 9, my boy Juan. What's up, sir? Thanks for joining. Next game is another game that you had. It was a little bit more competitive than that disaster in Dallas. Miami at the woeful Lions. Lions had so much. We keep saying it week in and week out. The Lions had so much hype going into the season off of Hard Knocks. All the offense they had, all the offensive weapons they had, and they've just completely bottomed out this year. Their defense can't stop a nosebleed. And Miami, they got off to a little bit of a rough start. Do the math real quick: 27-17 down at half, and they wound up pulling away. So what? This was your other game you got besides Dallas. So what happened here? Tua had a huge game.
I don't think people want to say it, but Tua's legit. Tua is legit. It helps when you've got, the two fastest receivers in the league, Waddle and Hill. That helps. Literally you just throw it from anywhere on the field and there it is. But no, that team is solid. They're playing well. The Lions, it's like you want them to win. It's like that one team that you don't hate them. You want them to win. Because the head coach, Campbell's great. They're this feel-good story, like you said, Hard Knocks coming out. And, yeah, that defense can't stop anything. I don't know. I don't know what that defense needs. Well, it needs a lot of stuff. But, we're 1-6 now? So, I don't know.
Our old theater crew playing Sunday pickup on Wigwam Ave in Stratford, Connecticut. I think we could have scored a couple touchdowns against this defense.
Oh man, maybe we would have kept it close.
That's right.
The Lions are the Lions. You just hope that they kind of figure it out. But Miami should have beat them. Miami, like you said, started out slow, finally got it going. That's going to be a problem for them, especially in the AFC. You got to be able to come out of the gates, and when a team is not as good as you got to be able to put your foot on the throat, because that's not going to work against KC and Buffalo.
That's right.
And those are the benchmarks right now in the AFC.
That's right, by a wide margin.
So Tua, what was he? 29 of 36 for 382, 3 tutties. There you go.
That's right.
There's really nothing else to say, but Dolphins have to start out a little faster. Lions have got to just figure it out on defense. I don't know if they can sneak a 12th or 13th guy out there to help them out, but
12th and 13th.
That's it.
Cheating by one player won't help.
They're like the lovable losers, but that defense needs something, because Goff hasn't been horrible. Goff has been decent. The run game is solid. They just got to learn. They got to get some stops on defense.
Beer for breakfast, facts for snacks with emphasis. Miami is good. And I think they are definitely right back in the thick of things for one of the wild card spots, getting the wheels back on them now that Tua is back.
Oh, definitely. I think as the season goes on, they're going to shore up some things, and they'll definitely be one of the wild card teams.
One game neither one of us got to watch was the equally as disappointing. Well, maybe not equally as disappointing because they got a few more wins than the Lions do. But the Arizona Cardinals went up to Minnesota, the incredibly surprising Minnesota Vikings this year. The talent's actually working. The change of head coach is proving to be a godsend. And they were generally in control of this game. The Cardinals made it a little close at the end. But DeAndre Hopkins looks like he's back. So I don't know. Maybe Arizona's just starting to get their groove back a little bit. But I mean, I'm not so much keen. There's been a lot of struggles in the NFC West this year. I'll put up Drew's next comment, even though it's not this game, but it's certainly related to this game because the Niners are certainly benefiting from the Rams struggling and the Cardinals struggling, and the Seahawks playing well as they have. The Seahawks are also playing with a little bit of fire. So, I mean, I don't know if we want to waste too much time on the Cardinals or just go on the Vikings and why the Vikings are this good.
All right. The Cardinals are real simple. They're just inconsistent. There's just inconsistencies everywhere. I believe Cliff's going to be gone. If I was Arizona, Cliff's on his way out. His offense, the air raid, does not work. Does not work for them at all. I think Kyler wants him gone. And of course, in the league, your franchise quarterback gets what he wants. So I think they're going to end up bringing in a coach that will do whatever Kyler wants. But on the back end of that is if it doesn't work out, Kyler. But yeah, the run game is extremely suspect. They just don't have it. There's talent there, but they just can't put it together. The Vikings playing good. That's, maybe they needed that new voice in the locker room with the new head coach. Cousins is playing well. They've got, Jefferson and all those weapons. The talent was never an issue. It was just they could never just get it together.
Right. They're almost like the Cardinals today are like the Vikings a few years ago.
Exactly. So this is probably the year where the Vikings if they're going to make any noise, this is it.
Yeah.
This is probably their best chance. Like you said, there's a lot of inconsistency in the West. The South it's just a mess. And yeah, the best division right now is probably the East. Let's be realistic. Right now, the East. But, the Vikings can pretty much play with anybody, I think, in the NFC right now.
Let's skip around a little bit because that's a great segue. Because I think the Vikings are a little under the radar right now because of how good the Philadelphia Eagles have been. And to no one's surprise, they absolutely blew the doors off Pittsburgh today. A.J. Brown had 3 touchdowns, all in the first half.
Oh, man. A.J. Brown.
This is just another. I mean, that's 4 total touchdowns for Jalen Hurts. I mean, this is just another notch in the belt to how far the Pittsburgh Steelers have fallen this year. I mean, in Philly, I don't know whether it's so much worth it to go in a lot on Philly this week because they were supposed to do this. Pittsburgh's awful.
Yeah, like this game is this is what the Eagles did was basically, let's say, if we look like the Cowboys were supposed to do to the Bears in theory, what the Broncos should have done to the Jags if, Russ learned how to cook.
Right now, Russ is struggling enough to hit the buttons on the microwave.
Jeez, man, you don't even trust him in a microwave. He's like your 13-year-old who you say, don't touch the stove, don't touch the microwave. Give them a Lunchable, and there you go. You sit with the Lunchable. So, no, Eagles are good. Like you said, there's really not much to say. Jalen Hurts has come out and is showing people that, hey, I'm the guy. And I think the NFC East goes through Philly for sure. And right now, Philly's the best team in the NFC, and people are probably putting their money on them to go to the game.
And if they're going to do that, they better do it soon before the odds get a lot tighter.
Yeah, exactly. Because right now it's the Eagles and then everybody else right now.
That's right.
In the NFC.
Speaking of the NFC, another NFC, the final NFC participant this Sunday also played. They played another disappointment. The Las Vegas Raiders. I don't know what's going on with this team. Maybe it's just, I know you like to dump on Josh McDee a lot, rightfully so. But they got shut out by a New Orleans team that hasn't exactly been. I mean, they put up a ton of statistics against the Cardinals last week on Thursday, but past that, the Saints Saints really haven't been exactly the sturdiest of ships this season. And
no,
apparently they look a lot sturdier than the Raiders ship.
You mean the dinghy known as the Raiders? They made Andy Dalton look like I don't know what. Now, mind you, Andy Dalton in his prime was a solid quarterback. I'm not going to take anything away from the Red Rifle there or whatever they called him. But come on, man. The Raiders have all this talent. And you're telling me that you put up a goose egg against an Andy Dalton-led Saints team that really is hobbling, a lot of injuries. You couldn't get three on the board.
Speaking of which, the one bright spot, I mean, I guess Kamara is still kind of a bright spot, but to me, Kamara is somebody that works best with an elite quarterback, and he does not have that. So
right.
He's left. But the one bright spot on the Saints this year was their defense.
Yeah.
But that defense hasn't been up to Saints par of defense of the last few years. So
no.
For me, it's like that just accentuates the point. You just made like you couldn't put anything on the board against this team. And that defense, yeah, they're good. Yeah, they got talent, but they're not the defense they were the last few years. Or at least they haven't played like it.
No, exactly. Now, are Saints fans going to say, oh, this is the turnaround? Here we go. Kamara's back. There's whispers that Kamara might get traded. Who knows if that's going to happen? But even if it doesn't happen, you're telling me you're going to ride Andy Dalton till the end of the year?
I heard they told Buffalo to piss off.
Yeah, well, sometimes, you know what? I think New Orleans needs to look at the bigger picture. They're always in cap hell and this, that, and the other thing. You need to look at your franchise 2 to 3 years down the road, and this franchise isn't going to be good. They are playing for the absolute now. They are built for like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
That defense is going to start falling apart and leaking. That offense is, come on, Michael Thomas, if he's healthy, yeah, okay, the greatest slot receiver there is. Okay, great, I'll give it to you. Landry, really? You might get, another 2 years out of him maybe? Like, this team is built for now.
And they're going to be the most impatient 2 years of your life.
If you're going to get a first-round pick, if someone's going to tell me for Kamara, if you're going to give me a couple 2s and a 3, okay, I'll do it. If I can get that from somebody, then I'll do it. Yes, I understand. It's like throwing in the towel, but you have to look at your organization and say, we need long-term stability. We don't want to be the Rams, because the Rams right now, and we'll get to them, are going to start feeling that pinch.
And look at what Carolina just did. They gave up CMC. Everyone's losing their minds, and Carolina's played better than they have all year.
Exactly.
So why not trade Kamara?
You got your draft picks. Okay, we're gonna retool. Like, let's be honest here. This is not the Sean Payton Saints. They're not. And I think they need to realize that and say, hey, okay, we're not throwing in the towel, but let's look long term. What are we going to be? Come on now. Let's be honest. So, but hey, Kamara 3 touchdowns. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And
I like Dennis Allen a lot, but it's just, I don't know.
He's not the offensive mind.
No.
He's not. And that's what the Saints hung their hat on. And Drew Brees. And the Raiders are just abysmal. Makes no sense to me. No sense. No sense. All the talent you have, you get Devontae Adams, and you can't. This is what you do
with the mastermind himself. Give him all these toys: Renfro, Adams, Waller, a quarterback like Derek Carr.
Wait a minute. Who? Waller? Who's he?
He's garbage now. He wasn't garbage coming into the season, but he's garbage now.
Unbelievable. Like legit. Like you look at that team, and they just can't do it. They can't do anything, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. This was one of those 4 teams when we talked about the AFC West that whoever hobbles out of there in first place could go to the Super Bowl. Right. Like this was supposed to be the division that the NFC East is.
Mm-hmm. Down to the wire, and on top of that whoever we're playing each other in week 17, we're going to be, or week 18, I guess. Week 18, mm-hmm. That was going to be, those divisional matchups were going to decide the division.
Exactly. And people were like, well, maybe the wild card comes out of this division. Maybe this is what it is. And nope, you got nothing to worry about. Go ahead, KC, take a week or 2 off. Do whatever you want to do. Because the Raiders are a hot mess. Josh McDaniels is a joke. He cannot coach. He can't. He can't. It's horrible. It's horrible. I revel in this. I'm like, good for you. Good for you, because you're not. No, it just makes no sense. And I feel bad for Carr. He's the company man. He's like, we're going to do our best. There's going to be a point when that man's actually going to swear, say a cuss word, and say, I'm out. Seriously. Like, really. And I wonder if Devontae's sitting there saying, was it worth me leaving?
Right.
Was it really worth me leaving Green Bay? Maybe. The money was right. Money was good. I don't have to deal with Aaron. But you're sitting at 2-5, even though it's probably the same, almost what you'd be sitting with in Green Bay.
Hey, you might get an extra win. The temperature's nicer in Vegas.
Exactly. But no. No words.
The reveling in Josh McDaniels' struggles is a good segue to the final 1:00 game of the day. One that always meant a little bit extra for you in the past, rubbing it into the faces of individuals that didn't necessarily always sit well with you on a week-to-week basis. The Jets got a little bit of a reality check today, and I'm a little bit surprised. I thought, like, with the Patriots, even especially coming off of that abysmal performance against Chicago on Monday night, I figured this is it. This is the Jets' chance. This is like, hey, we're for real. We're going to punch Bill in the mouth and send them back to the doldrums where we hope they stay for a very, very, very long time. But the Jets got a reality check. They fall to 1-3 at home, which means they're 4-0 on the road. Surprise of all surprises. And
yeah, but that's Flacco, though. Let's be honest, man. Flacco was probably when they were playing their best.
That's probably true. The MILF Hunter did put up 350 yards today, but he also had 21 incompletions
and 3 picks.
3 picks.
This game kind of reminded me of the early Brady years with the Jets. They'd win, but it wasn't like he was putting up monster numbers. They found a way to win. The defense carried them to a win, and I think McCourty had one of the 3 interceptions. So this game kind of reminded me of that old Jets Pats gaming. I don't know. The Jets, maybe they're believing their headlines a little too much, reading the press a little too much. I still think they have a ways to go. They've got talent. There's no doubt. No doubt. They, cashed in the draft. Great. Picks were awesome. But they still got some learning.
I've heard that baseball was still king on WFAN because baseball on WFAN. So during this whole run where football was so great, and now all of a sudden baseball's done, they don't have anything to talk about, and now the football teams are back to reality check. We'll get into the Giants in a minute, but now both football teams have kind of gotten their reality check and come down a peg, and it's like, well, you missed your shot to revel in this success. But New York media,
exactly. The Jets are 5-3. It's not like it's the end. It's the end, but I think if Jet fans were sitting there saying, "Oh, playoffs, here we go."
Yeah, they're definitely not out of it, but Miami's 5-3 looks a lot better than the Jets 5-3 right now.
Oh, definitely. No, definitely. And with the Patriots, I don't know. I'm not a Mac Jones fan. You know where I stand. I stand with this Zappy. Zappy should be running that team. Zappy.
I don't know why Bill all of a sudden has abandoned his former philosophy of going with the hot hand, sticking with the hot hand.
I don't know either, but I think he got a little pull happy on that game against the who'd they play before? It was
Chicago.
Well, in Chicago, when all of a sudden he throws Zappy in and thinks he can just pull him in and out, like all of a sudden it's a 2-quarterback system. No. You can't do that. You can't do that.
This isn't the NBA. You don't play with 2-point guards.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but you're playing that bench, point guard like $100 million, anyways.
That's right. The other thing with the Jets is they've hung their hats this year, and rightfully so, on how well their defense has been playing. They were outscored 16-7 in the second half. Now that's a lot of field goals, but still, you can't be getting outscored like that in the second half in a close divisional game.
The Jets are
against the opponent that you're objectively better than this year.
They are, and I think they're learning. I think when you start to win, you have to learn. When you win, you have to learn to win in a way. Kind of like, okay, we've won some games. Let's temper the expectation. You're not at that point when you walk into a building and it's like, oh, we know we're going to win. You're not there yet. You're still learning. And I think they're going to get there. They're going to learn their way. I think the coaching there is great. They're going to get there. The Patriots are just a Band-Aid that, they're just trying to survive. Let's be realistic. That roster's okay. Like, they'll get wins, but they're not a playoff team. I think probably some guys will end up getting traded at the deadline, especially out of the receiving core. They've got some guys I think that are going to get moved. Bourne and Aguilar probably. Those are the names getting floated around. So I think with this was just Bill being able to pull some things out of the hat. Veteran team able to get the win.
Let's stick with New York.
Zappy for president. That's all I got to say.
What? Zappy
for president. That's all I can say. Let's continue.
You might get some votes nowadays. The Jets got their reality check. So did their stadium roommate, the Giants. They got their reality check as well. They went up to Seattle. Two teams very much playing on, I don't know whether you use the term borrowed time or just playing with fire in general to describe the way this two seasons has gone for the Giants and the Seahawks. And I guess you don't necessarily want to assume that it will the hot streak will continue for the road team, especially for a lengthy trip. But it was close for a little while, 10-7 at half, 13-10 after 3, and then Seattle ran away with it in the fourth. I guess the Giants beat themselves a little bit. This was your 4:00 game, was it not?
Yes, this was the pretty one. All right. Let's be honest. No one thought the Giants were going to be in this position at all. Let's be realistic. The Giants we're riding a wave of, oh, we feel good and, oh, we're winning and there's no way they can do it, but they're doing it. No, and for the Seahawks, no one thought they were going to do anything. everyone, preseason, Russ left because he said he didn't have any pieces and he needed to go somewhere where he could win. And they said, all right, Gino, here you go, because it was either Gino or Drew Lock. And, people were kind of shocked when Drew Lock didn't get the keys to the kingdom. I don't know why. You saw him in Denver. Let's be realistic. And I'm telling you, the Seahawks are a dangerous team. They're 5-3. They are a dangerous team. They have that feel of it's us against the world. No one believes in us, and that's fine. Gino was out there. He looked incredible in pocket, great pocket presence. He was moving around, doing whatever he needed to do. The Giants, I think you started to see the cracks. They don't have a really true number one receiver. You shut down Saquon, and okay, Dan, you'll beat us with your arm. Not really.
Right.
And if you spy him, you're not going to let him run. He can move. He's a mobile quarterback, so he gets his yards. You spy him, you force him in that pocket. Plus, the Giants had turnovers. That didn't help them either. But overall, no, the Seahawks team they're a scary team.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Slayton is the Giants 1, but Slayton's like a 4 on any other team. And Seattle just they're so mind-boggling a little bit because these are all the same pieces that Russ had.
Yes, exactly.
Why did you figure this out?
And I'm sitting here going, exactly. And you sit there and you're like, okay, supposedly, okay, you could say that the wide receiver core in Denver is better. You could say that.
Fair.
You could say it was better.
Judy and Sutton and
Judy and Sutton, Hamlin, okay. So yeah, you're saying that, you know what? No. Yeah, because I think their third is probably better than what Seattle has at third. Because you've got DK, Lockett.
Yeah, and Lockett, yeah.
And Marquise Goodwin, I think, is their third. Don't know how I know that, but that's it.
Journeyman of journeymans.
Exactly. The man must have a wall full of jerseys. Like that's got to be cool, but I digress. And, you've got a solid run game in Seattle and all that, but, Russ is like, nope, I'm going to Denver. Okay. Gino is like, I'm just going to play my game. He went in there and said, okay, they gave me the keys. This is what I do. And they've looks like they've tailored the offense to what he can do, as what you should do.
Good coaching staff should do that.
Like, all right, this is what you can do, Gino. These are your strengths. This is what we're going to do. We're going to try to win with this. Their defense isn't the Legion of Boom anymore. Not at all.
Right.
But
far from,
but they're a solid unit, and from what I saw when I watched the game, they play hard. Fundamentally, they look sound. So I think this is the kind of team that Pete Carroll wants. This is what I think he wanted Russ to be. A little game manager, but a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Gino's like, all right, I'm going to do my thing. Hey, I'm playing. I don't care.
That's right. Gino doesn't have an ego.
No.
Gino has no reason to have an ego.
No. He's been around for like 10, 12 years, and now he's like, all right. They were chanting his name in the stadium. I don't know what game I've ever watched. The man's been around for 10 years. Any game I've seen him play, I've never heard them going, Gino, Gino. Like, I was like, what? In Seattle.
We haven't heard that since West Virginia.
The only name I've ever heard chanted Gino was freaking at UConn.
That's right.
Let's be real. It's the only Gino I know. But no, Seattle, they're gonna be that team in the NFC come playoff time. If they get in, for one team, they could cause some trouble. The Giants, they've got to figure out what their offense is. They really do, because it's not smooth. It's not like this was a hiccup game. They couldn't throw to anybody.
Yeah. So
they need some receivers.
And now the book's out on them. You shut down Saquon and
I still don't know what's up with what Galladay. don't think I've seen the field in weeks. Like he was like the big free agent pickup a couple years ago, and the man has done nothing. I don't get it.
Somewhere else. That's what's ready to happen.
That's watch. He'll just be a footnote in the trade deadline, and next thing you know, he's playing for Atlanta, and you know what? They make the playoffs, win the division.
Marcus Mariota slinging it downfield. Division title 8 and 9.
Championship in the NFC Championship game. Marcus Mariota
and Geno Smith.
Highest rated NFC Championship game ever watched.
The NCAA used to be bowl.
It's like when they do the brackets, the greatest NCAA teams of all time, and they somehow meet at the end.
That's right.
There it is.
All right, let's stick with NFC West. I'll put Drew's comment back up about his Niners. Now, I kind of got the best of both worlds with this outcome because one of my fantasy matchups with my some of my other beer influencers, the opponent had the Niners defense, and I picked the Niners to cover. It was only 1.5 points. So I'm like, you know what? As long as Rams score some tutties, I don't care. Just score some tutties and then let San Francisco run away with it. Well, that's exactly what happened. The Rams got out of the gate really fast and then just completely fell apart, and CMC looked like the old CMC.
I don't know what the problem is in LA is. I have no idea. This team is nothing like they were last year. Is OBJ is it because he's not there? Is the true number 2?
That's right. Which is hard to imagine that Odell Beckham Jr. at this stage of his career is that big of a difference maker between Super Bowl champ and 500, sub 500.
Well, that they can't run the ball. They can't.
That's true. They have 0 running backs.
What I read today, that if they can't find a trade partner, that Cam Akers is coming back. Do you think he's going to want to play?
That's right.
Like he doesn't want to be there. So like, are you going to say, "Come on, just please play for us, please"? Blah blah. Come on. Yeah, like here we'll give you a better parking spot for the rest of the season. Like what do you do? The Rams are a shambles. I believe they are a team that believed their hype and came in thinking that everyone in the league was going to just fall at their feet and they were just going to walk to the Super Bowl. No, that team is a mess. The Niners look good. I think the trade was smart. Jimmy G he's playing for his next big contract.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to go somewhere and someone is going to pay the man his money. And now I don't think they're as good as the Eagles right now. No, but I think in a couple weeks they're going to really start to flow. Debo comes back healthy, hopefully. He didn't play today. Ayuk is starting to get in that offense, which I think is key because it was Debo and everybody else. And Kittle needs to be in the offense. He can't just be a glorified blocking tight end.
That's right.
You need to get that guy the ball.
And Debo was the next thing I brought up because they did this today without Debo. And they're playing a little while without Debo, and that's a huge piece to be missing. And do you think that this is them starting to turn the corner to get back to what people expect out of the Niners? A lot of people are picking them to go to Super Bowl, and that was not knowing that Jimmy G was going to be under center. So, this is. Are they like getting back in a track where they're going to take off and go and run with it? When once Debo gets back, CMC's running like he is right now, and Ayuk and Kittle being back in the mix. Like, this is a lot of weapons. This is almost like what the Raiders should have been with all these weapons from that perspective. Obviously, the Niners defense is worlds better than the Raiders defense, but that's besides the point.
No, exactly. I think with McCaffrey, they are more of a complete team. I understand you use Debo as the wide back, and he was doing all this. That's great and all for certain packages, but doing that over a season, sooner or later he was going to get hurt. people were going to figure it out. This allows Debo to be now, mind you, you still want to do that in a couple packages. That's fine, but you allow him to be a receiver, and now you have an elite back now. So now the offense opens up so much more now. And the reason that they were picked for the Super Bowl, I think, too, is their defense.
Right.
Like, they have a great defense. So now you look at that offense and you're like, okay, who do we stop? It's kind of like the Rams last year. Who do you got OBJ, Cup. They had complementary pieces. Okay, who do we kind of stop? Here it's like, what do we do?
Yeah. There's too much.
And now you actually have to sit there and say, oh, look, there's Ayuk. I have to watch him. Before, you just go ahead, do whatever you want, Ayuk. I don't have to worry about you. I just need to watch Debo. Debo and Kittle. That's all I need.
Yeah.
That's it. Now you're like, what do we do?
You almost have to let one of them go off.
Someone has to beat
you. Pick your poison almost.
Exactly. And then the problem is that poison can be a starter pretty much anywhere in the league.
That's right.
So now you're sitting here saying, all right, well, maybe if we only give up 25, maybe our offense can put up 27, but not a lot of offenses can. As you can see in the league, not a lot of people are putting up 27 a game, whatever. So I think the Niners they're going to start turning the corner, and they're going to get hot. So right now, Niners, Eagles is looking good because I'm just not sold on the Cowboys. I love the Cowboys defense, but if you're talking complete teams, I think the Niners are going to slowly become that complete elite team.
That's right. And obviously we love what Geno has done up in Seattle, but watch out, Geno, because San Francisco is going to be right on your heels.
Exactly.
All right. Time for my moment of shame. Let's go over the rest of the AFC South, the abysmal AFC South. The Jags did their part and fell flat on their face in London. But let's go on to my other divisional opponents first before I lament heavily into my questioning of the future. Titans and Texans. This wasn't necessarily supposed to be close. Titans should run away with it. It wasn't necessarily the blowout you would have thought. They only won 17-10. They were up 7-3 at half. Texans got a touchdown way late in the fourth, so that's basically 17-3. If that was the last touchdown, which I think it was, because I think Pierce scored pretty late in the game. But in any event, Tennessee was in control of this. King Henry was King Henry again, 200 yards, a couple tutties on the ground. Tennessee is just, they're getting so lucky. They backed into the number one seed last year. They're just backing into the division this year because we're horrible, Jacksonville's horrible, and Houston is just a complete mess. I don't want to believe in Tennessee. Obviously, I want to root against them because screw Tennessee, screw Titans. But they're still there with this blistering record, and it's just fool's gold to me. From an objective football fan's perspective, they just are such fool's gold.
So like the Giants.
Well, at least the Titans were supposed to be good. The Giants weren't.
Well, here's the thing. Tannehill didn't play today, correct?
No, it was Malik Willis' first start.
The future, Malik Willis.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Let's check in because the leading passer in the game was Mills.
Yeah, I didn't expect much from Willis. I didn't expect much from Willis because who's he throwing to?
Now, 55. He only threw 10 times, 55 yards and a pick. But again, Henry had 200 yards. Hilliard had 83 yards.
This
he didn't exactly have to throw.
This was the perfect game for him to start.
That's right.
Let's be honest.
Houston. That's right. That's
Houston, doormat, nothing there. Okay, Vrabel said, okay, we don't need you to throw more than 15, 20 times tops. You've got King Henry in the back there. Let him do what he does. And that's exactly what this was.
And to your point on who he's throwing to, after Woods, the next two leading receivers, nothing yardage-wise, of course, he only had 55 yards, but the next two receivers after Woods were both the running backs.
Wow.
So,
I get why they signed Woods because he was going to be the number 2 to, Batman, a.k.a. A.J. Brown, and you let him go, And so
which is looking really dumb right now.
you're telling me he wanted to stay there, but you didn't want to pay him the money. Okay. Yeah, the Titans are smoke and mirrors. Let's be realistic. You got Derrick Henry, and that's it. It's Derrick Henry and a cast of characters. You got Tannehill, who's trying to play quarterback and throwing a nobody. Robert Woods. Tannehill's not horrible, but he's Ryan Tannehill. I don't know what to say. So yeah, they somehow are 5-2, and it is what it is. They'll be exposed sooner or later. I assume Tannehill's coming back. I don't think they've given the reins to Willis, so I think Tannehill's an ankle or an illness or something like that. I didn't look to see.
I mean, to me, it's the same situation as Ritter in Atlanta. Obviously, Mariota's still going, but you're just waiting for. I mean, you're basically just waiting for an excuse to go to Ritter if Mariota falters. I mean, I think this is the same thing. You're just waiting for an excuse to go to Willis.
But
if
I think
if Tannehill's not going to be your guy to injury or poor player, whatever, Willis has to really be a stink bomb for Tannehill to get back in that game. Like, to me, once you go to the young guy, you cannot go back.
Yeah, but they do that in the league. Here's the thing. The Titans, in theory, are a better situation than Atlanta is, in theory. So the Titans would be more competitive. So at that point, I think Atlanta probably said, you know what, we're going to go with Mariota, and at some point the young guy's going to get in and get some time. Little did they know they'd be 4-4 and leading the division. So now it's going to be Mariota time, and they're going to ride that till the wheels fall off. Who knows if they will? And right now, 5-2, the Titans are going to say, okay, Ryan, you're back. Here you go. They want Ryan to play his way out. Let's be honest. I think they do. I think it's just a matter of time. Now, I think you can hang your hat on that come Tuesday when the trade deadline is over. If they haven't tried to get another receiver in there or something, then they're like, all right, we're just going to roll with what we got.
Yeah.
And then they're going to go from there. I think they're kicking themselves for letting AJ leave. And now they're sitting there going, we have just enough probably to win the division. And then they're just going to try to luck out.
5-game winning streak following an opener against the Giants, coming out just barely on the short side and getting smoked by the Bills. 5 wins in a row, 4 games with Henry over 100 yards.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, here's their next upcoming games. So they have a Sunday nighter against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
There's no way they're winning that.
No, not at all.
Then they get Denver at home. I mean, obviously, we're not big on Denver, but with Tennessee's smoke and mirrors type of thing, who knows? Russ might steal it. It could happen. Honestly, I don't think there's much that really separates Tennessee from Jacksonville. Is Tennessee's defense better than Jacksonville? Sure, but not by much.
It's not by much.
At least Jacksonville's got options to throw to.
If you had to pull my arm, I would take Tennessee over Denver. I would. Denver is just you can't trust Denver.
I can't, but I might trust their defense. I mean, they're Henry or nothing. Shut down Henry and
yeah, but how many defenses can really do that consistently?
That's fair. Denver's defense did look decent. I will say that.
Defense, but the problem is when your offense is putrid like that and your defense is on the field more than your offense, those guys are getting tired. And that plays perfectly into what Tennessee's going to do because it's the fourth quarter. If you're Denver, do you really want to see Derrick Henry? Or do you really want that man to run into you?
No,
I'm letting him go.
I don't think the Bills or the Niners would want to see Derrick Henry.
On the ground. I'm going to flail whatever I got to do to sell it. because that man is going to get stronger as the game goes on.
Right.
And if I've been out there longer, twice as long as my offense, I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm mad. And that's what it is. No, Derrick Henry smacking me in the mouth in the fourth quarter. No, we're not having that. I'll give that to Tennessee all day.
Tennessee after that, this gets tricky. Now, obviously, we're down on Green Bay, but going up into Lambeau, still not necessarily the easiest of tasks to accomplish.
I think their receiving core in Green Bay is better than what Tennessee has.
Yeah. What does that say?
Yeah.
Green Bay's not exactly lighting the world on fire with their receiving core.
And Green Bay does have two solid backs. So, no, I would give Green Bay that.
And then after that, Cincinnati, who, I mean, we'll see what we'll see what tomorrow night plays out. We'll see what the Monday night game against Cleveland plays out. But Cincinnati chases out now. That's going to be brutal for them, but they certainly have plenty of options behind them. So if they're getting back in the stride, we'll see how that works out. And then they go on the road to Phillies, and that's going to be a loss.
Oh, yeah. Forget that, dude. AJ circled that one on the calendar.
Yeah. That's fair point.
If he doesn't score 4 touchdowns in that game, then I don't know what.
That's right. And after that, I mean, 3 out of the 5 games are fairly easy. They get Jacksonville twice. They get Houston again. They do have to go on the road to the Chargers, and they got to play Dallas at home. So, I mean, if you chalk those up the losses, but I mean, what are the automatic? They're 5-2 right now. Our automatic losses are Chargers, Dallas, Philly, and Kansas City. 6. Is that 11-6? If they take care of business, well, Cincinnati, I guess. So 9. I mean, even if they're 10-7, 10-7 is still going to win this division.
Yeah.
I mean, they could probably drop off 2 more games, they'd still win it, and they'd still win it.
Yeah, and they'd just be waiting for somebody to smack around to get smacked by. So, but then it's one of those things where they're like, okay, so then in the offseason, what do they do? Are they like, okay, well, we did win the division, so are we just a piece or 2 away? What are we going to do? And do we believe that Ryan is the guy?
Right.
So winning the division actually makes it worse for them because they have to wait even longer to answer the questions that everybody knows the answers to, but we won the division. You know, sometimes winning a division isn't the best thing in the world.
That's right. Speaking of said division, I probably just distracted myself way too long, so I didn't have to talk about this. Just lament on this horrendous performance. Now, let me just say, I expected nothing going into today. Washington came off a huge win against the Packers. The defense is good. Heineke is a better quarterback than people give him credit for. We benched Matt Ryan.
He's a scrapper. Heineke's a scrapper.
We benched Matt Ryan. We start Ellinger, who is he looked really good in preseason this year. Better than he's ever looked before, but that's preseason. You have to take that with a grain of salt.
Yes.
And so I had zero confidence going into this game. And for whatever reason, we had a lead in the fourth quarter. We were up, I think 16-7, up 16-10 with a minute left. They cut my game over because that Niners game is completely out of control. They cut the game over, and they cut it over right when Heineke's celebrating that touchdown on the goal line. And I'm like, I thought I had a little bit of time. There was a minute left. They were back up on the 34. Now I'm just questioning myself, like, now, you know, if the wallet's blessed enough next year to buy some Panther season tickets, I kind of want to, because I'm kind of done with this team right now.
He said it's time. We did have this conversation because you asked me. Let me adjust myself here. You did ask me how do you deal with moving on, and I was blessed to fall into a situation where 6 rings over 20 plus years. Blessed. But when it's time to go. For me, it was just the organization. I felt just through threw Brady away, and I was like, no, I can't. No. I thought their organization was did the guy wrong and just wasn't in the right path. So I had to say, okay. And it just happened that the man came here to Tampa. Like, it was just a perfect storm. Like, it doesn't happen that way. That would be like if the Colts decided to leave Indy and come to Carolina and plop down 10 miles from your house.
That's right.
And it's new ownership and it just changes over. It's one of those weird things that happens. So I don't know. Honestly, I said the Colts were winning this division. Even with a half-armed Matt Ryan, I still thought he had enough in the tank. I thought he was a better option than when you guys had Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. It just all just fell apart. Taylor's been hurt. The wide receivers are kind of a hodgepodge of, like, Pittman is good.
Pittman's good, and Pierce has shown enough that it's not a lot, but if you're relying heavily on Taylor, it should be enough.
Yeah, but there's the problem. And mind you, Taylor's top 5 back, no doubt, in the league.
Hines is basically your slot guy if Taylor's healthy and doing his thing.
If you guys had Derrick Henry, I would believe that argument more because I think Derrick Henry is a different back. He gets stronger as the game goes on. Taylor, mind you, the guy can run, but now he's starting to show some cracks. He's a little injury prone now. I don't know if he's that guy who you say, here's the ball 28 times. I need you to run it. After Pittman, yeah, Pierce, and then it's who knows what. I think they need another receiver. They need a big physical receiver. And they need a better tight end.
Right.
And that's what I think works for Matt Ryan. Because Matt Ryan's always had like a tight end. He's always had like that guy. And he doesn't have – I don't think he has that chemistry with anybody there. He just doesn't. It's been like we have to do this on the run. And it doesn't work. It rarely works.
And honestly, the way this season's going and where we are right now, I wouldn't be shocked if Matt Ryan didn't see the field again for the rest of the season. See what you got with Ellinger and just, I don't want to say tank the season in week 8, but you might need to draft a quarterback.
Well, was Ryan a 1-year deal?
He wasn't any more than 2. And the second year may have been an option. I'm not 100% sure.
Because then you have to ask yourself, all right, if you've got him for another year, depending what you're paying him, are you going to let him sit the bench? Is he going to be that guy? I don't know. Like, maybe he comes to you and says, you know what? I know I can still play. I want to go somewhere. Maybe let him walk. Do you sit there and implode it all and start from scratch? Do you feel that's the best option for this team today?
I think that's a viable option. And if you asked me that a year and a half ago, I thought we were ready and primed to go on a run. We just needed someone serviceable under center. But it's clear that Leonard's absence has proven to be a much bigger bear on this team than originally thought. I think Leonard not being there has really been a detractor on this team. I think Taylor missing time completely threw us out of whack. We got lucky with some games at the end where they were still close, and Matty Ice had just enough juice left in the arm for a good drive or two to close the game out. But and honestly, this game we had, and Ellinger didn't do that much. This game we had, the defense just blew it. They completely shit their pants.
See, I think you guys miss Rock Ya-Sin.
No, I do not. I do not miss that man any more than I miss Jerry Hughes. He can rot in hell too.
So let me ask you this question. Let's say you guys somehow backdoor your way into the playoffs, right? Then you just take a good smacking in the first round. Would you still blow it up, or would you try to find pieces to keep it to see if you could, pull magic. You pull a rabbit out of a hat next year.
Honestly, anything past Taylor and Leonard is up for grabs. What will you give us for them?
So for you are probably leaning towards you would just rather whatever this is what the season is, and let's just do it over again.
That's right. Oh, and Nelson. I'm sorry. Nelson would be untouchable too. Nelson, Taylor, and Leonard. But everybody else, shop's open.
Even Pittman?
I trade Pittman. If I can get a 1 or like a couple 2s for him, I trade Pittman.
Pittman isn't a 1. I would give you like a 3 maybe. I don't know.
I'd take a 3 for Pittman. It would be nice to get a 2 and a 3, but
because he's decent, but I don't know if he's at that level yet where I'm like, yeah, he if I give you my 1, he's a first round wide receiver in this year's draft. Like I don't know if he's that guy. Like he's got talent. I just think he needs somebody with him to develop with.
This year he could have been because there were so many wide receivers in the first.
Oh yeah, dude. There you go. You would have gotten maybe two 1s.
All right. Well, I guess you talked me off the free agent ledge a little bit, so we'll go on to some forecasting. Tonight's game, it just kicked off. There's no score yet, although the Bills that right at current recording stance have first and goal at the Packers 1.
Oh yeah. I have it on here, and yeah, they're on the 1, and Josh Allen's yipping like nobody's business.
So I don't have much doubt that the Bills are going to win tonight, but how bad is it going to be?
Wow.
Because the Packers have struggled. Rodgers has struggled. The Bills' defense has been great. Allen's been an MVP.
Let's just be honest. The Packers stink. Like, just say it. I think people are scared to say it, and I don't know why. Like, Aaron can't hear you.
That's right.
Stink. They stink. They're horrible. They have no receiving core. I don't know what they're doing with those 2 great running backs. I hope one of those guys leaves and wants to come to Tampa, maybe. Like, that defense is good, but they just can't. I don't know what it is. Maybe they don't like Aaron, and maybe they're just like, we're just going to go through the motions. I think the first 2 quarters, if they can keep it somewhat close, they'll play for pride. But if the Bills go on a run, forget it. They're like, whatever. I could see them losing by 2 tutties. I just don't see it. And, of course, Aaron's on prime time, so he's going to want to flick some stuff. And, here we go. No, the Packers are horrible. If the Bills don't beat them, Bills scored anyways. So there you go.
There it is. Wayne just dropped in the comments as it happened.
There it is. See, come on, man. This is horrible. This is a hot mess. Like, there's no reason.
On command.
No, the Packers are just, at this point, they're just a shell of themselves. There's just nothing there.
Oh, he threw it to Knox. Dang it.
Oh, man, I got him on a team. Love that Knox. And I'm not going to lie. I like this Buffalo team.
Ooh. Yeah. Buffalo is.
I can't say I dislike them. I like these guys. I would like to see them make it to the big game.
So if Tom Brady cannot crush the Bills' souls one more time, would the Bills be your preferable team to see win?
All right. So today you're asking me if Tom after Giselle takes half the rings and everything in the divorce. Oh yeah, honestly, yeah, it's got to be someone from the other. Yeah, if Tom ain't going, then it's got to be someone from the AFC. It has to be. It's got to be. And yeah, I would. Yeah, Buffalo is it. They're just talented. I just think those guys just play well. Josh Allen he's bionic, man. That guy is no joke. There's gonna be a point when he's gonna have to stop running. But that man is bionic. I think they need a run game still. If they can get Kareem Hunt, because that's another guy who's rumored. If they can get Kareem Hunt, then it's all over. I think right now they're better than Kansas City as a collective.
Yeah.
So you can't count out Patrick Mahomes, razzle dazzle. I get all that. But as a complete team, Buffalo, I'm taking them. I'd like to see them win it.
We've got Wayne. I also have Josh Allen in 2 leagues. I'm very happy about that, and he better not get hurt because now the Chase is out. We have some naysaying down from South Beach right now. Big Lou of the We Beach here, We Beer here combo. Go Dolphins, and Buffalo lost to the Dolphins.
And when it's division, we always say you split your division. Right. You always say you split your division. Bills are going to go probably 6-1 tonight. So
that's right.
The end of the day, like I said, Miami's a tough team. They've got talent. They definitely have talent. You get the 2 fastest receivers in the league. But like I said, I think Buffalo is the more complete team. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Packers are down. The Packers are going to lose by like 14. And you know what? You know what, Chase? I'll tell you. And, this is on video and all that. So, you can always go back to this. Buffalo wins the Super Bowl. I'm going to jump through a table. I'm going to jump off a table. I'm going to go through a table.
Bills Mafia.
I will get a Josh Allen jersey and I will jump through a table. I will do it. I'm old. My body may break and brittle, but that's fine. I'm willing to do it. I will, because I believe in Bills Mafia.
Oh, man. We gotta get. We have to get that. We have to get it on video so it blows up.
I will put it on video, whatever. But I'm not doing that ketchup and mustard thing they do or whatever. No, I'm not doing that. No, I know. I'm not doing that. But yeah, I'll put the table up like in my front yard or something. I got to make sure I don't kill myself jumping off my truck. But
hey, the Bills win the Super Bowl and you jump through the table. We post that on my channel. That might take the channel off.
You know what, man? I'm willing to do that for you. My bodily harm for your success. Just remember me. Just remember me when you visit me in the hospital.
We'll still do the lives from the hospital bed.
Sure. I should be able to still talk. I'll be like, yeah, Buffalo, great win. Tom Brady, 50 years old, still playing. I got you.
We got more smack talk. I'd love to see another Buffalo heartbreaker to the Chiefs, boys.
I don't know. I think this year is different. Like I said, the Chiefs.
Josh has a chip on his shoulder.
He does. He hates overtime. Josh isn't playing for overtime anymore. Overtime's a dirty word in Buffalo. Like I said, the Chiefs are good, but I just think if you're talking complete right now, Buffalo is it. And I think they're going to end up picking up some pieces at the trade deadline. And if they're that number 1 seed, forget it. I don't want to go to Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here we go. Here, he just hopped on. We got to bring this up.
That's right.
Eddie of the Craft Bruisers team. Let's go, Denver. Let's ride.
Wow. You know what? If you're a Denver fan, you take whatever you can get. You take whatever you can get. Because this was not what you were looking for. So, you know what? I'm happy for all you Denver fans. Enjoy it. Enjoy 3-5. It's great. It's a great feeling. 3-5 is great.
Yes, they did, Wayne. But beating the Jags is the equivalent of what would that be? Microwaving a turkey?
Oh, wow. And it just fits in there, so it's like the leg's getting stuck while it's spinning. But a win's a win. I guess you take it, Chase, man, Denver won, man. I ain't got much to say.
That's right. As Indianapolis snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, I certainly am not one to talk tonight.
Yep, you got Heineke.
Heineke. See, this is payback for enjoying all those Heinekens in my younger days.
Yep, that's it.
That's what tonight was.
That's exactly. Yep, I'll take that. Exactly.
That's right. Voice from the Denver fan. I take whatever I can get.
That's it. You know what? He gets a week of being a winner. He gets winners Monday, Chase.
Huh?
He gets winning Monday.
I was waiting for Wayne to drop the Falcons comment, and we went over that at the top of the show, but they snatched a victory from the jaws of defeat. They certainly did.
Mariota time.
Just make an extra point. Just leave your helmet on. Just leave your helmet on and make a kick.
That's all you got to do, man. That's all you got to do. DJ Moore.
Hey, yeah, you know what? If Carolina can crap their pants all they want, because that just means those season tickets prices are staying down. I'll be very happy to snatch those up next year.
Chase, they're gonna give you like buy one get four free.
Of a whole squad rolling into BOA Stadium.
They're giving you a whole row. Don't put your name and face on there. What are you talking about?
Thank you for coming.
They're gonna give you a locker, man.
Well, there is one more game before we sign off. That is tomorrow night's matchup, AFC North matchup between Cincinnati and Cleveland. I closed my tab by accident, but I believe it's in the dog pound, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I believe it is in Cleveland. Yes.
I mean, I feel like Bengals finally got back on track last week, and are they back though? Are they rolling now? I mean, they should roll. They should roll Cleveland. Cleveland's 2-5. They're still waiting for the savior Watson to come in. I mean,
right now the line is only 3.
That's fair though. I mean, Cincinnati struggled this year against a divisional matchup. I think the line's fair.
Do you think the line would have been a little more if Chase was playing though? Healthy Chase?
Well, I think it was that before the weekend. So I think that's still fair. I mean, I think it was an easier cover if Chase is healthy.
Yeah, I think the Bengals should smack the Browns, and they should. Even without Chase, there's talent there. They should. But this is a game where I don't know. I don't know. Here's the thing. If Kareem Hunt doesn't play tomorrow, you know he's getting traded. Like, let's just be real. You know he's going to get traded. I love Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb is just slamming back. He just hits hard. He just runs. I love Nick Chubb. I think the Browns win. I'm going to go out on a limb. I think the Browns can pull it out. I just don't think Cincinnati has the talent.
Not ready yet.
Their O-line is so up and down. Like, one day they can protect everything. Next day, they can't protect their way out of a wet paper bag. It's a hot mess. Joe's getting sacked 6 times. I think this game probably fits the line. It wouldn't surprise me if the Browns do win. I'd like them to win, but I think the Bengals will pull it out. But I'm rooting for the Browns.
One last comment from the Peanut Gallery before we say goodnight. I don't know if Eddie's still on, but if he is, he'll enjoy this comment from Big Lou of We Beach Here and We Beer Here.
Now, here's the thing. Sometimes, you've never done it before. Everyone remembers their first. Everyone remembers their first. You got to start here. You got to start here to get to here. And you know what? Love works, man. Love is love. You never know. I probably took that a little deeper than I needed to, but Hey,
and if if your first winning moment of the season is in week 8, hey, sometimes that's enough.
Hey, love is love. You love whoever you love. Let's show respect. Love.
Love it. Love is love. Write it out.
There it is.
Sir, thank you for joining me again.
Been another lovely
game next week.
Oh Lord, yes. Who we have next? I don't even want to look at who I got next week. I've purposely taken myself off of socials not to look because I've been bitter and angry.
Oh no! Do you want me to tell you?
I believe it's hold on. Is it the Rams?
It is the Rams.
Oh yeah, the Rams. You know what? What do I care? It's the Rams. Look at they just got their tails waxed by freaking 9th. Whatever. We might just lose in overtime. That's a victory for me right there. Tom signed the divorce papers. We're ready to go now.
Oh, that's right. Well, it's a 4:30 game, So in the event that you're not able to join me next week, I will see you again in 2 weeks because you're in London after that. Or Munich.
No, actually, it's Germany.
You're in Munich.
We're in Munich. So I'm gonna have to find me some Lowenbrow or something for the event. That's right. I got Gino.
Oktoberfest came a little late for the Bucks, but it's still there.
It's still there. It's me and Gino.
Sir?
Yeah, yep. 3-7 at that point. Feeling pretty good. 3-7. I can't wait for my top 5 draft pick. I'm very excited. I've never had one of those before. Don't know what that feels like.
This is like that first year where you hadn't completely written off the Patriots yet, and you were looking so much forward to having a bad season because you forgot what they were like.
I was like, this is how it feels to lose. Everyone's like, I'm like, this is awesome. Now I know what everybody feels like.
F you win.
Yep. Like, okay, whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? Is this how you lose? Oh, wait, we made the playoffs. Go figure. I don't know. A ring every 3.5 years is tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
I don't want to put that on anybody. But now I am reaping what I sowed. 3-5. 3-5.
Karma came back around.
Karma took 20 plus years, but it came around. This crow is hard to chew, man. This crow is hard to chew.
Well, sir, go enjoy this tail waxing that Buffalo's going to lay the Packers.
You enjoy as well, sir, and we will talk soon.
Peace.